What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Raptors Report. It is time to talk about Jimmy Butler, who has officially requested out of Miami, and he said he'll play in any organization outside of the Miami Heat. So I've decided to come up with 5 trade proposals. 4 will be, good ones, and 1 will be a surprise team, which I will reveal at the end of this video. So if you're ready to watch, make sure to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the like button as well. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. And as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel. And the shout out for today's video goes out to the real Shere Khan. So thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. And before we get into our trade number 1, I'm going to be going through each trade and discuss on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely it is, this trade actually happens. 10 obviously being very likely, 1 being very unlikely. So let's talk about our first trade here, which involves 3 teams. So the 3 teams here are the Miami Heat, the Houston Rockets, and the Toronto Raptors. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets. You get Jimmy Butler here. Obviously, the Rockets are trying to win now. They have Dillon Brooks. They have Fred VanVleet, who are, 2 of the players that could be sent because the salaries do need to match, but they don't, which is why the Toronto Raptors are involved as the 3rd team here. So the Houston Rockets, get Jimmy Butler. They want to win now. They get their small forward, and it really just fits their identity of playing good defense, playing hard-nosed basketball. And in return, the Miami Heat get Bruce Brown from the Toronto Raptors. Again, salary filler, $23 million expiring contract. They also get Steven Adams, Jeff Green, Cam Whitmore from the Houston Rockets. The Miami Heat also get a 2025 second-round pick from Toronto via Portland. So it's going to be a very early second-round pick. The Toronto Raptors also give up their own 2026 second-round pick, and the Houston Rockets give up a 2028 first-round pick, which is top 5 protected, and a pick swap in 2030. Now, why do the Raptors do this? Well, they get Jabari Smith Jr., again, a good young player to have. They really lack depth at the forward position. He's a power forward. Maybe at times you can play at the center position as well. They get Jock Landale, which isn't a great contract. But again, that's where they're getting some of these young players as well. 2 years locked in at $8 million. And they also get Nikola Jovic, which again, I suspect that Miami Heat will not give up. It'll be really hard to pry because he's a very young player, only 21 years old. He's shown a lot of flashes, and that's probably a player that Miami Heat definitely want to keep as well. But again, the Raptors give up a couple second round picks, particularly that Portland one, which is valuable. Now, why do the Rockets do this? Why do they give up Cam Whitmore and Jabari Smith Jr.? For one simple reason, you need to make salaries work, but also the reason the Raptors got involved in this trade is because the Rockets managed to keep Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet. Now, you're probably asking yourself this, why would they not trade one of those players? For one simple reason only. When you look at the Rockets as a whole, the lineup would be Alperen Sengun, Dillon Brooks, Jimmy Butler, Jalen Green, and Fred VanVleet at the 1 position, of course. And the reason they keep Fred VanVleet is because if they trade him, they don't have a point guard. Simple. Jalen Green isn't a point guard. Jimmy Butler can initiate at times, but again, he's not a point guard full time, and he also has his injury issues as well. And also keeping in mind the Houston Rockets still have a ton of young players they could trade, particularly guys like Kevin Durant. That is a player they've been linked to a lot. And you know what? If the Rockets have a good, successful playoff run and the Suns don't look so good this season, if Kevin Durant asks out, that's when you take into consideration possibly trading a big contract like Dillon Brooks or Fred VanVleet. So that's why the Rockets hold on to this. Obviously, you acquire Jimmy with the hopes of winning a championship, but if you don't, you keep Jimmy and then you go for Kevin Durant. Aging stars, but the goal in this league is always to win a championship, even if it means sacrificing your future. So again, this is a lot to take in, and obviously being a Raptors fan, a little bit biased here, the Raptors do get a decent amount. Now, the likelihood of this happening out of 10 is probably a 4. Not a very likely chance that this happens, just given how much the Raptors are receiving in Jabari Smith. And also, like I said, Nikola Jovic is a player I know the Miami Heat definitely love. He's only 21 years old, but again, you do need to make players move around. And again, this is more of maybe a fan base rather than a realistic approach, but it's a lot to go around. But I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about this trade. Let's move on to trade number 2 here. So the second trade involves a player, and obviously Jimmy Butler, but also to a team that he's been linked to and, potential wanting to go to, which is the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors receive Jimmy Butler. Miami Heat receive Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II, Kyle Anderson, Brandon Przinski, and they receive 2025 pick swap, which, let's be honest, the Warriors should finish above the Miami Heat, so it's likely going to stay with the Warriors, and they get a 2027 top 5 protected pick. Now, Warriors, they don't have much choice here because they try to grab a lot of players to kind of pair up with Steph Curry. His window's closing. He's playing really well, but you could tell that they have to win now. They can't afford to wait another 2 seasons to try and get someone else. The Warriors need help offensively. Jimmy helps them, but also helps their defense as well. The Miami Heat do this because Brandon Przinski is the key player they get here. They also get a top five protected 2027 pick. And then you get Kyle Anderson, who's a good defensive player. And look, Andrew Wiggins, I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a good player to have. And, for the time being, he can fill the role of being that small forward there. And maybe in a few years, they look to flip him as well. But again, a decent trade for Miami, not a super attractive trade, but Brandon Pazinski is a good young player they can have. Maybe, in terms of positional needs, you're kind of overlapping skills with Tyler here. I'm not saying they're the same players, but maybe you play one of them at the one and, the other at the two. The Miami Heat could always use more offense. And I think Brandon Pazinski is really going to shine in that system. They're always known for working young players really well. So I like this trade for Miami. Again, it's not the sexiest I know on paper. Warriors, obviously, this is a no-brainer. You pair up Jimmy Butler with Steph Curry. So that's it. And let's move on to our third trade here. The third trade here has been a team that's been kind of thrown around when the Denver Nuggets. And, obviously, Michael Porter's been a name that's also been thrown around given his large contract. So the Miami Heat received Michael Porter Jr., Zeke Naji, Christian Braun, who's been, playing really well, DeAndre Jordan, and a 2031st top five protected pick from the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Denver Nuggets can only throw in that first round pick, and in return, the Nuggets get Jimmy Butler. Now, why do these two teams do this? For one simple reason. Again, look, the Miami Heat always want a good young player in return and at least one first round pick. And 2031, that's a far ways away. Who knows what that pick's going to look like? It could be a really good pick. I mean, Nikola Jokic isn't going to play forever. Jimmy Butler's obviously going to be old too if you're trading him to the Nuggets. So it could end up being a good first round pick. The Nuggets do this for one simple reason. They get their small forward that could really play defense. And you know what? Obviously Jamal has had his moments in the clutch. So has Nikola Jokic as well. But then you get Jimmy Butler, who really helps initiate that offense as well. And he's just such a smart player. I think him and Jokic are going to play off of each other really, really well. And it really elevates the Nuggets, ceiling when we talk about really capitalizing on Jokic's present of how well he's playing. You don't want to wait 2, 3 seasons from now and Nikola Jokic gets older, gets injured, or whatever the issues may be. You want to try and win now. Jimmy Butler is obviously a little bit older, who's probably going to look to win in the next couple of seasons, but that's what the Denver Nuggets want. So again, it makes sense for the Denver Nuggets. Miami Heat, again, it's a decent trade. I wouldn't say it's a great trade, but again, the likelihood of this happening, I actually give this a 6 out of 10. Maybe it doesn't happen, but obviously Miami's going to be asking for a lot. Don't get this twisted. It's Pat Riley. We always talk about Pat Riley doing crazy things, but one thing he always does is ask for a lot when he's trading players. And let's see how this goes. The next team we have here, again, could be a surprise team. The San Antonio Spurs get Jimmy Butler. The Miami Heat receive Keldon Johnson, who the Spurs have been trying to get rid of for quite a few seasons. Harrison Barnes is obviously a salary filler, and they get Trey Jones here. They also get 2 first-round picks, which is very valuable. A 2025 top 5 protected pick and a 2027 top 5 protected pick. Now, you're asking yourself this question. Why do the Spurs do this? They have Victor Wembanyama. They don't need to win now. Why are they giving up assets? One simple reason only. When you think about 2027, just think about it. Even if it's a 12th overall pick, guys, are the Spurs looking for that pick to take 2, 3 years to develop? Are they waiting till 2029, 2030 to want to win? Even now, that pick is going to be not very likely not top 10. So that player is probably going to take 2, 3 seasons to develop. So the goal, I know, shouldn't be to spend all your picks and try to win now. But the Spurs are good now. They have Victor Wembanyama. They obviously brought in Chris Paul to really help his growth and also just be a veteran leader. So why not bring in Jimmy Butler? If the Spurs do miraculously, I'm not saying they can, but it would take a miracle for them to win a championship this season or next season. That is going to be so important to help Victor Wembanyama really reach that next level, because when young players are able to experience the championship runs and really just win it, it takes them to another level, and it's huge for their career. So I think the Spurs go all out, and why not? Jimmy Butler's got 2, 3 seasons left in him, probably 2 good ones, one decent one, but why not go for it? Why not go for it? And again, you're not, in terms of players, you're not really giving up a lot of young players. Keldon Johnson's, with respect to him, he is just someone they've been trying to get rid of. Trey Johnson's okay. So this trade here, I'm actually going to give this a 7 out of 10. Again, the likelihood that this happens, I believe it to be higher than some of the other trades on this, just because the 2 first-round picks are very valuable. Miami Heat get 2 first-round picks. Keldon Johnson is still a serviceable player, and if they want to flip him, $19 million isn't a ton. For 3 seasons, that's a bargain in this CBA. So pretty good trade between both trades. Again, you could always say they want more, but I like this trade for both teams. Let me know what you guys think. And let's move on to our last trade here, which is going to be a surprise team that no one expects to trade for Jimmy Butler. Now, this is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Miami Heat trade, or excuse me, the Cleveland Cavaliers trade Darius Garland to the Miami Heat, Isaac Okoro, and then Sam Merrill for obviously salary purpose. Now, you're asking yourself this question: why? Why in the world does Cleveland do this? They have been longing for a small forward for quite some time. As you see, their 6'5" Isaac Okoro is listed as a small forward, but he's a little bit undersized to be playing small forward. And also, Cleveland Cavaliers, just the Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell fit just has been really odd. I know what most fans are thinking. The Cleveland Cavaliers are sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference. They got a lot of good young players. Why in the world are they in a hurry to win now? Because windows in the NBA are so short. You have to win as soon as you can. And frankly speaking, if you ask yourself this question, are the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics, bearing any injuries, who's going to win the next 3 playoff matchups between these three? It's going to be the Boston Celtics, of course. So Jimmy Butler is a player that really takes him over the top. He's been someone that's been there, but also just he matches up really well against the Boston Celtics. He just dissects them so well, and we've seen it time and time again. He's so good at really beating some of these top teams. He's done that to the Bucks. He's done that to the Boston Celtics several times. So why not just go for it? The Cleveland Cavaliers could have a lineup of Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. I mean, they're already a good defensive team, and adding Jimmy to that would be amazing. So I really like the fit there. Again, I know a lot of fans may be questioning because Darius Garland alone is a lot to give up for an aging Jimmy Butler, and then you're giving up Isaac Okoro as well. But like I said, man, the goal to in this league for every team is to win a championship. When you have that opportunity, go for it. Do not wait for certain teams to age out. Do not wait that maybe the Boston Celtics will break up the Jays. If you got the opportunity, you're playing well, go for it. Go for it, man. Just as a Raptors fan, trust me when I say that. That's what they did with Kawhi, and that championship's going to last forever for a lot of us Raptors fans. But these are my trades. Let me know your thoughts on all of these trades and the likelihood of this trade happening. Obviously, I'm going to rate it a little bit lower than some of the other. I'll probably give this a 4 as well. Again, not very likely this happens just because the Cleveland Cavaliers are positioned well. But also keep in mind, the Cleveland Cavaliers traded for Donovan Mitchell when no one expected it as well. And again, they're similar to a lot of the teams I've mentioned. They're not going to be someone that's going to attract free agents, but they also just don't have the money either, right? So why not just go for it? But again, let me know your thoughts on all of these trades. What do you think of these trades? You like them? Which one was your favorite? And with that being said, let's get into our trivia question for today. And since we're talking about Jimmy Butler, let's talk about which pick did the Bulls use to draft Jimmy Butler? Was it A, the 10th pick? Was it B, the 14th pick? Was it C, the 19th pick? Was it D, the 24th pick? Or was it E, the 30th pick? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.